Hey boys and girls, Mr. Beard here with your class recap for Tuesday, November 22nd. We started today with a journal entry. On page 241 in your textbook, there's a quote. It says, "America is a land of wonders, in which everything is in constant motion and every change seems an improvement. No natural boundary seems to be set to the efforts of man, and in his eyes what is not yet done is only what he has not yet attempted to do." After reading that quote, you'll need to respond. What does this quote suggest about Americans at this point in their history? What sense do you get of Americans at this time period? Secondly, what kinds of literature or themes in literature do you think might come out of this period in American history? This is going to be speculative. Okay, you're going to have to make an informed guess. But based on that quote, what kind of literature do you think will come out of this period? When responding, especially to the first question, make sure you have a thesis statement. We're going to practice thesis statement driven writing, meaning you don't say "I think." You don't say "I think this quote," da, da, da. No, we know you think that, or else you wouldn't be writing it. So tell us your thesis. Here's an example of a thesis statement answer. Tocqueville's quote paints a picture of Americans as idealistic, optimistic, ready to tackle the vastness of this virgin continent. So again, it's a thesis-driven response. After we did our journal entry, we had some guided notes over Romanticism in America. American Romanticism. We very quickly went through our last unit, the Revolutionary Writers. This is going to be a little bit of a longer unit. I'm going to cover several stories in this unit. So these are important notes to set the background over this literary and artistic movement. I'm going to give you an abbreviated or truncated version of our lectures today. These notes can be found on our class website. You just need to go here and click on class notes, and there will be a copy of this PowerPoint under there. But really quickly, I'd like to go through them. The main point that you need to take away from this entire lecture, I'll tell it to you now, is that the Romantic movement appealed to the senses and emotions over reason and intellect. We're coming out of the age of reason, where there's all these noble intellectual theories on how humanity should be equal and how we all should have rights and these grand kind of ideas based on intellect. We're getting away from all that. We're getting away from reason and intellect. We're getting away from the age of reason to this movement of feeling and senses. It's more personal and individualistic than earlier works. Not just Age of Reason, but even Puritans' poetry and sermons about, the sinfulness of man and all this. We're getting away from all that broad, general stuff to specific individuals. Some characteristics, again, the spirit of optimism or idealism. There's a sense of nationalism. We're starting to take pride in not only our country, but in our artistic pursuits. We're starting to take pride in our writers like Washington Irving and Nathaniel Hawthorne. It includes a rejection of the ordinary, the strange and unusual, and these wild adventures are emphasized. Again, with the individual, the emphasis not on man as in humanity, but on individual men. This glorification of nature. Nature is idealistic. It's the mind of God made visible, as Emerson said. And this love of mysterious and supernatural. Gothic tales. We've all read Poe. We're going to read some more of Poe. But the Gothic submerging. The idea of it's not something you think about. It's this feeling. Like it could be dread or wonderment, but a feeling over thinking. Emotionalism and imagination stressed over logic. After our guided notes, we then went into our unit and had some work time to tackle our unit. So we've got this worksheet here about the unit introduction that you will need to complete. A copy of this can also be found online or in our class bin. And that covers what we did today in class on Tuesday, November 22nd. Thanks for listening.